Okay. Jeff, what's up, brother? This is John, Game 31, here with another Game Talk. Here's my good friend Jeffrey Wittenhagen. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Oh my goodness, we always say this every time. It's been a long time since we've
It
recorded.
it has been too long, my friend.
Way too long, man.
Absolutely. So what's new, man? I mean, obviously we have this pandemic going on, a lot of crazy things going on. How's life going for you, brother?
So I mean, things are crazy due to the nature of my normal job. I'm still working, but I work week on, week off, in the office, out of the office. A lot of people that I've talked to, it's in a similar thing where we tend to work more when we're at home because people want to keep like tabs on what we're doing. Really crazy.
Yeah.
However, on the hobby side, this has offered me a lot of time to get some stuff done. Working on a definitive edition of my Nintendo book, my original NES book, making it like
Awesome.
really polished. Obviously, a little product placement over my shoulder right
Yeah,
here.
man.
Got
Rich collection.
the Switch Collector Volume 1 right here. And I'm working on year 2, which will probably be 2 more volumes. And
Wow.
we were just talking about before we recorded the Virtual Boy book, which has been out, and I've been inking by hand. I do wooden book covers that I hand stain and ink.
Wow.
Because I'm a hipster artist that I am. But it's allowed me to do a lot of cool stuff. So how have you been, John?
Busy, lucky, fortunate, appreciative, all the above, brother. Some exciting news, and I haven't really announced this publicly yet, is Sydney Hunter is coming out physical Switch, speaking of which. So that's going to be cool. It's coming out physically. So that I'm super excited. A ton of people have asked me about it. Hey, you came out with a physical Sydney Hunter with Chris and Mayan. Answer is yes. So
nice.
I'll have
Can
dates
you
and stuff later.
disclose who is releasing it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, cool.
But
that's a big deal, though. That's a big deal.
We've signed the agreements, everything. We're good to go, bro. Greenlit and everything.
Nice.
So working on some really cool things included in the special edition, which would be awesome. And this company does really top-notch stuff. So I'm super stoked for that. So that's been a glimmer of light for sure in this dark time, with the pandemic.
And the thing is that I do these Switch Mania playcasts where we play a game every week. I think we're in the next week or two, we're planning on covering Sydney Hunter. Disney.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Okay.
So I think one of my guys, because we have 2 co-hosts, one of them never asked you for a code or something, but I'm like,
okay.
Well, I'll talk with John eventually, and then we'll make it happen because we want to cover the game. I really enjoy it. Those that are watching, if you have only played the Super Nintendo game, you're doing yourself a disservice because it's like a Metroidvania at this point, but like linear with level-by-level layouts. It's really cool. Like, it's so polished.
Thank
you. You should be extremely proud with the release, and there is no game that is more deserving of a physical than Sydney Hunter.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
so,
man. Like, for real.
I have a Switch code, or not a Switch. I have a Steam code for him. I'm out of Switch codes, but same game. But really proud of the game turned out on Steam right now. Knock on wood, we have 100% positive rating, which is really hard to get on. I mean, you know how people are kind of finicky about games. So
the fact
that we have over 30 reviews and they're all positive, which is great. So people who are playing it are really enjoying it, which I'm super stoked for. So it's great to see. Great to see. So that's been good, man. My day job's going well. I unfortunately had to lay off my team with all that's going on. I'm really sad about that. So I hope to bring them back once everything clears, but I've been keeping contact with them and just, keeping their spirits up, trying to anyway. And just, it's been tough, man. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing that we want to really touch upon today is how COVID is affecting things because, I mean, you have lots of vested interest in craziness. I got lots of vested interest in craziness. And through both of us, we know a lot of people. I've talked to multiple artists, convention goers, game releasers, all sorts of different people, and they've all been affected differently.
Yeah.
Like the commissioned artist, it depends. The self-made person, like where I fall in, like I can kind of just concentrate in a hole, but what I'm doing doesn't put food on the table. Those that put food on their table with their art, they're struggling to the point where I'm trying to I have a few book covers already commissioned and done because I'm just trying to help out people right now. There's books that I won't have out for years, and I have covers already. There's some amazing stuff I've been tagged on.
Okay, that's cool. Good for you.
Our buddy Niemeyer, the Mortal Kombat guy, did a cover for my 92 video game culture book. That's not even supposed to be done, and it's an amazing Mortal Kombat piece. And
That's awesome. And yeah, that's so for those who don't know, Paul Niemeyer, he's the original artist for Mortal Kombat and just a
Yeah.
talented dude. And he's been posting stuff on his Facebook. I've been following him, and super one of the nicest guys over meet too. So it's great.
Well,
So good for you,
and
man.
so the thing is though is that like I've been trying to help out, but there's a lot of people out there, yourself included, that are having multiple issues. I mean, one that I can say that personally affects me,
Mm-hmm.
that involves you, and ColecoVision is
Right.
that I actually pre-ordered the newest batch of the Phoenix.
Right.
And so, like, the Phoenix is, if you don't know, I mean, if they're following your channel, they have to know. But, obviously it's an FPGA ColecoVision.
Right.
And I've been wanting to support it forever. I heard from some of your different teammates that this may be the last print run. So I'm like, well, I need to definitely get it. I pre-ordered it, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then they're like, it's probably going to be the fall now because all the parts are on back order because of this situation.
Right.
And I'm like,
right.
oh, that's
because
crazy.
all the molding's from China, right? So everything's kind of on hold for now. But yeah, it's the good thing is we did our first batch of about 500 systems. The second batch is about 500 as well, and this might be it. I think we're probably gonna make 1,000. So it's a very limited console. It's obviously a very niche market as well. So, but those who have it and really enjoy it, you can play Atari 2600 games on it as well through a SD card. It does have the ability to play using a Super Nintendo controller because a lot of people complain about the ColecoVision controller. So I'm really proud of how it turned out.
John, don't forget MSX game compatibility too.
Yeah.
Let me show you a little something that I got as well that came in the mail.
Oh, look at that. That's awesome.
ColecoVision NES style
with
an actual Atari connector for ColecoVision. It actually is compatible with the Coleco. So I can play my games. It actually shows in here which buttons it correlates to. So it's 1 and 2, star and 1, and the number 1 right there.
Okay.
So I'm ready to get my Coleco on. And finally I can play GameStop 31, the video game.
You can finally play it. Yes.
Finally play it.
2013, 2012. It's crazy that game's been that
long.
But man, it's my favorite console for sure, and I'm just happy to be part of that project. And people are loving it, man. It's been good. I think initially we got some backlash because of the whole Chameleon debacle, but this is a legit system. It's FPGA, so.
Yeah, and I mean, I was part of your panel at Portland a couple years ago with Brett Wise and Brian, one of your tech guys.
Yeah.
It was super fun, and the thing is that like the ColecoVision for me, like I didn't own it growing up, but I would go to like family members' house and we would sit there and play Mousetrap and play some of the classic games. So it always had that. It's way more artistic, and the graphics pop a lot better than the Atari, and it was always like a treat for me. So but I've never really had one myself. So like I've come across games, and it's going to be really cool.
If you're an arcade fan, like classic arcades, that's a system for you. And the homebrew scene is pretty amazing for it as well. Not just ColecoVision games, but there's a bunch of people making really cool homebrew games for it. So, and it has that I think it's an F18 chip, or it's got a chip in there that can actually allow it to graphically be almost on par, if not better than the NES, graphically, color-wise, and things like that.
Yeah, we demoed that at the panel. It was really cool.
Yeah. And it makes a really significant difference, right? It increases the RAM of the game, and it's really cool. It can do a lot of cool things. So really, honestly, there's not much markup on our end to do these. It's very, very expensive, as you can imagine, to make a cartridge mold, or in this case, a system mold of the board. There really isn't much markup, to be quite honest. The reason we're doing it is because we're passionate about the ColecoVision system, and in hopes that people who buy the system will hopefully buy our games that were come out with exclusively for the Phoenix.
How many games do you have available? I think I read somewhere it was ridiculous. It was like over 30, maybe close to 40, 50 homebrew games not available, but have been released at ColecoVision. Like, it was insane.
Just in ColecoVision games in general?
Just ColecoVision games by ColecoVision on your site. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah, and so we've been around for 10 years. I think it's over 100, to be honest. It's over 100, easy.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh my
crazy.
God.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
And so, like, that's the thing that's insane, is that, like, every homebrew community has, like, a giant following. It's really cool that you guys took it upon yourselves to do the right thing with the ColecoVision. I mean, I, as a creator, do a lot of stuff that, like, literally makes me no money. I do it because I can and because it's cool. And like, it's not financially feasible. It's why what I do is a hobby with Hagen's Alley and all of that. Like
Sure.
it's a fun hobby, and
Yeah.
the thing is though is that like people will always complain like, oh, it's too much money. Well, we're doing this as a community. We're
Yeah.
not
Exactly.
we're not Nintendo. We're not Microsoft, Sony. Like,
Right. Yeah. We didn't do a Kickstarter or anything. I'm honestly done with. I know you do a lot of those crowdsourcing, which is awesome. It works for you, but it puts too much stress for us because we've had some projects that are still in the works, and I feel terribly sorry for it. But um, it's extremely stressful. So we just
yeah,
self-funded it, So, but no, you've been able to keep up with your crowdfunding, which is awesome, and it's a good way. It works for you for sure. It's awesome.
I try, but
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I have something in the works that I could allude to. Like when you mentioned Sydney Hunter coming out physically
Yeah.
on Switch, I might be in some kind of adventure upcoming that might be announced soon.
Good for you, man. That's cool.
And we're not going to Kickstarter or anything.
Okay, well, good for you. Well, let me know. I'd be happy to spread the word out for you, man, for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But
yeah, for each other.
There's a little feelers for the listeners. like I might have something coming up that, and we already have a contract in place. So it's pretty cool. I know I mentioned to you about Sydney later. I was like, nobody picks it up, man. Like it will be.
Seriously, if I had $1 for every time someone asked me if it's coming out for physical, I'd be a very, very rich man. But I think a lot of people.
Those people, I'll give you $1 now.
But no, again, it's another project. I'm happy how it turned out. It's been a long journey, 5+ years working on this game. It's kind of, I consider it my baby of sorts, right? So, it's something I look back on very proud of. So, it's keeping my mind off of things during this very difficult time. I mean, speaking of which, with this pandemic, how are you holding up, man? You doing okay?
Yeah, I mean, being my day job is military.
Right.
Even though the beard that I have going on right now, the gray beard over here doesn't tell it much. But however, because of that, like I'm still working. Everything's highly controlled. So even I'm in the state of Georgia right now. Even though the state of Georgia has opened up gyms and stuff, I'm not allowed to go. I have to still stay socially distanced. Not allowed to go hang out at Lowe's like there's a million cars right now every day. Not allowed to do that kind of stuff. So, I mean, and we kind of think my daughter may have had COVID back in November when nobody knew what it was because she had a weird flu-like thing and then got over it, got diagnosed with nothing. So the thing is that, like, right now everybody's healthy. We're good.
That's good. Good to hear, man. Good to hear.
I'm learning how to homeschool my daughter because that is real.
I have 2 6-year-old boys who are in kindergarten and trying to homeschool them. Fortunately, my mom is coming over now to help out with some homeschool during the day because she's a teacher. So it just so I was kind of debating whether she's 60 or 65, almost 70, right? So I'm like, should she come over? Is it safe? But at this point, I'm like, yeah, help. So we haven't really left the house much. We're kind of staying in our own little bubble. So we're being as safe as we can for sure. But I feel for people who are losing loved ones, who know someone who's been affected. The scary thing is though, a lot of people are waiting for a vaccine, but that could be a year and a half. But Jeffrey, the truth is like vaccine's not guaranteed, right? So I mean, they still haven't found a vaccine for HIV. It's been around for 30 years, right? So I think
what we really need, John?
What's that?
We need an antibody test to figure out if people have had it.
You speak the truth, but I'm telling you, that is the biggest thing right there, right? So, and I know they've done some studies, like I know Stanford, USC, even in New York, they found like 14% of the people that they tested had antibodies, and I think in the studies in California, they found that like 50 times more people have had it than they initially thought, which means 2 things, right? It's scary in the sense that 85-90% of people who have it are asymptomatic, right? So they don't have the symptoms, and they could be carriers, which is very scary. On the positive side, when you flip the coin, it means that this thing is probably less deadly than initially thought, right? Because initially they were saying, oh, it's going to kill 2 million U.S. citizens. It's 4%, of the people will die. And coming to find out that that's not necessarily the case. So it's a way how you look at glass half full or half empty. It's how you want to be. I'm an optimist. So the way I look at it is every day is closer to the normal of how things were. And that's kind of, I hold my head up knowing that this is only going to be temporary. It's not a long-term thing. It's really sad to hear the unemployment numbers and, like they're saying, the depression, for example, is 25% were unemployed during the depression. We're probably going to blow past that if it continues, right? So hopefully it's just temporary. Hopefully people get their jobs back and I know people are fortunate to get their unemployment and the $600 a week that the U.S. is paying, for unemployment. But I know friends here in Arizona that they've been for 5 weeks. They've been trying to get unemployment in the state, and they haven't been able to have any luck. They're all out of money. And I know the same case
Man,
in like other states. I don't know how it is in Georgia, but it's like, how do you feed your kids? How do you pay the rent? And
backlog is real.
it
Yeah,
is, man. It is.
for
So
real. Like,
it's not just people getting sick, which is a tragedy, and it's very sad, but it's also everyone who's being affected just with their jobs, and the mental health too of it is really sad. People are becoming desperate, and it's sad. So my message for those who are watching and listening: just be hopeful. There is hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Don't give up. We're in this together, and we'll get through it.
and get it processed. Like right now, a few days a week, I go outside and go running on my own.
Yeah, man, that's good.
Groups.
Yeah.
I'm doing the 100 burpee challenge. I don't know if you've heard of this one.
No,
Just do 100 burpees a day.
Good for you, dude. Those are hard. That's good.
I'm on I'm on a week of that. Plus, I work out too.
Good for you.
Like that kind of stuff keeps your brain focused. Like the workout's like your first cup of coffee in the morning.
Yep.
And I'm up late working on projects, secret projects, but books too. Like I'm constantly doing stuff, and it keeps my brain going and helps the days from bleeding together.
For sure. And I've been doing swimming every day with my kids, right? We have
nice.
we have a swimming pool in the backyard. I think it's really good to get vitamin D, get the sun, get out there and just go, so we have fortune to go swimming, get the exercise in, get the blood flowing, and we've been watching. We went through all the Star Wars movies, right? So we went through all 11 in order. Right. And they finally have their 6. They're finally have the attention span to sit through these movies. And I was debating, do I show them in the order that I watched them as a kid, going like 4, 5, 6, and then obviously the prequels. But what I ended up doing was starting with episode 1 and just progressionally going through. And then we did the 2 one spin-off movies, Solo and Rogue One at the end. Now we're going through the Marvel Universe movies, right? So we have Disney Plus, so we're going through all those movies, and there's like 22 of those. So every night we're going through a Marvel movie. So just trying to have some type of schedule, trying to keep a mind, keeping my kids. I feel bad, man, for seniors that are in high school, actually, right? And seniors, of course, senior citizens. But for those who are in school who are losing out on graduation and prom and all that stuff, that's really tough too. So, but they're at an age where they look back on this and they'll be fine,
So you mentioned Star Wars. Like, I actually took this time as well on the weekend to set up Views. I don't know if you know what Views is. Buze. So it's backtrack. Plex.
Yeah, I know Plex. Yeah.
I use Views to get some movies for Plex.
Okay.
However, I set up my Plex server, but my versions of Star Wars, I have episode 1 through 3, the anti-cheese editions, which are edited.
No Jar Jar. Yeah.
Like Jar Jar's there, but he doesn't really talk. Like they significantly cut out a lot of stuff. And then I have 4 through 6, the despecialized edition.
Yeah. Joel. Shout out to Joel. He hooked me up with the Blu-rays of the unspecialized edition version. Yeah. And they're really good. I mean, they're, I was watching episode 4 with my kids, and I'm like, why is Jabba the Hutt in this movie? Like, why did George Lucas think it was a good idea to put it back in the movie? It was just terrible. But no, I agree. It's the best way to watch them, So
like I have all of those, and then I have 2 movies called The War of the Stars, where they took episode 4, they made it look like a grindhouse movie, used a lot of unreleased footage, and then like James Earl Jones has his own dubs in there for Vader and stuff, like from different movies. Like, it's really interesting.
Can you send me a link? I want to check that out.
For sure.
That sounds rad.
Yeah, like it's really crazy. It's like a Tarantino did Star Wars. Like, it really is. It's really cool, though.
Speaking of Star Wars, I've been watching the Clone Wars on the Disney Plus. I know they came out with season 7.
New season.
Great series. It's, it is a cartoon, but man, I'm telling you, it's well written. I can't talk right now. It's well written and it's very, very well done. So, that's great, man. That's awesome. So, been busy doing that, man. Obviously, stressed out about Game On Expo in August.
So let's get into the Game On brand.
Yeah, man.
Because this week of recording, Too Many Games now rescheduled to September. So Game On is right before that. So
we're August 7th through 9th. we're cutting it, man. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I'm not canceling yet. I'm going to hold out hope, but we'll see, man. I'm obviously being smart. I want to work with the city and the convention center, kind of see what our options are. But people understand it. You can't just flip a switch and cancel everything because there's going to be. I'm on the hook for bills that would be pretty significant if I were to call them and cancel right now.
So the brass tacks is, because I like to always be straightforward.
Right.
You know, I've talked with Dan Lucen from Midwest Gaming Classic,
sure.
and other convention like Rick Wise from
Portland. Yeah.
But essentially, until the city cancels for you for large gatherings in a convention center, you are still financially on the hook for the deposit that you put in. That is a lot of money, thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. So if they don't do that, Game On essentially has to run because you can't afford to not run it. But then the people may not show up or can't show up if this pandemic is still going on. So that's I mean, where, listeners need to kind of realize the reality is that you're running a legitimate convention, and there are rules and regulations behind it that aren't specific and special to Game On. It's how the convention center runs.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest. I mean, conventions are going to be the last thing to open up, right? So, I mean, I'm not numb to that fact. I am aware of that. I am very fortunate where I have a day job. Game On is not my full-time position. I'm not dependent on it. There are a lot of shows out there that they do this for a living, and my heart goes out to those people, because what people don't understand is not just the convention runners, it's the catering, the security, the hotels, all the people who are involved in making these shows from behind the scenes are all affected by this. So it's a big decision. So I can promise you, Jeff, and I've whatever we do for Game On, I first and foremost I want people to be safe, right? I want people feel confident and be sure. So that is foremost the most important thing. Secondly is it's a matter of if I were to postpone or cancel or all out, it's a matter of what I don't want to do, Jeff, is run a show half-ass. Do you know what I'm saying? Put a show together and then no one show up and then I'll lose my shirt. So it's a matter of do I lose a little, or do I lose a lot? And even a little's a lot. So
it's not a little.
It's not a little.
Do you use
it's
a
not
lot,
a little.
or do you use a lot?
Do I lose a lot, or do I lose bankrupt? Basically, bankruptcy would be the only option at that point, which is not cool. So I'm all I can do right now is just pray about the situation, man, and just hope that things get better. Like you said before, I think you hit the nail on the head. We need to have antibody tests. We need to do testing. We need to check.
Sure.
And I'm a huge sports guy, man. I miss baseball. I miss sports right now going on. I mean, basketball playoffs should be going on right now, and it's just it's a hard time. And not to downplay what's going on, because I don't want to downplay the seriousness of what's going on, but it will be nice when we get sports back, we have some type of normalcy. So we'll see, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Well, it's also a lot of people that are quarantined don't really have a way to adjust to normalcy, because a lot of the different things they would use to unwind, watching sports or doing other things, are no longer available. And then what they do is stream, but there's only so much you can do with just one medium. Games are perfect for that, because you can sit there and play games. But again, you can only do so much before things start to all blend together. You can, it's great. It sounds awesome. You can play games all the time. However, after a while, you got to get out. It's crazy, and so some people are getting a little stir crazy, and I didn't mean to cut you off, man. Go ahead. Sorry. Oh, you're good.
I was just gonna say it kind of boils down, Jeff, to a calculated risk, man. And like I was saying before, the vaccine, even if they were to come out with a vaccine, it's not 100% proof, right? I mean, I've gotten the flu vaccine, and I've still gotten the flu before, right? So in the past, and so it's an estimated guess when they do these vaccines, right? So it's not 100% proof. But we take a calculated risk every time we go out in the car and drive, right? We take a calculated risk every time we go do something. So it's just a matter of people's calculated risks, if they're willing to take the calculated risk. And that's kind of what it's going to boil down to. We can't stay cooped up forever, bro. I mean, this is not sustainable. No. We can't, and the government can't keep printing money, because that's not going to work. So we're going to have to open things up. Do I think Georgia's probably opening up too soon? Probably. But they are a guinea pig of sorts, right? Good or bad. You look at countries like Sweden, and they really didn't shut down much at all, and their cases aren't much worse than anywhere else, and they'll probably hit herd immunity much sooner than everyone else too. So it's kind of how you go about it. I think that's going to be the key is herd immunity. That's going to be really important. So, you know, so the point of closing everything down was to kind of flatten the curve, right? To avoid the hospitals of being overran. My wife works at a hospital. She's a physical therapist, and they're letting people go. They're so slow. So, it's at least here in Arizona, that's kind of the case. So
it's the same thing here. Like things have slowed down to the point where, which is good. It's good that things are controlled now.
Absolutely, man. I think they were, I think that was good. They were smart to be aware and cautious. And I hope if anything else, when this is over, we can look back and learn our lessons for next time, because there's going to be a next time. Hopefully it's not for a while, but when it does happen, we're better prepared for it.
Let's hope. Like, it's crazy.
Man. It's crazy.
So I'd say one good predictive piece for GameStop would be, where do we see gaming going now in 2020 and beyond because of said pandemic? Because you got to think about not only like what's currently going on, but the residual effects of plants shutting down in China. I mean, Nintendo is not doing direct. E3 shut down. A lot of the different big industry conventions are not going on, which affects indie developers. So there's a big piece where we can unfold multiple layers of the onion. But like, where is gaming going to go? Is it going to affect the consoles that are coming out? Like, what is going on?
Probably. I mean, because the PS5 is supposed to come out this Christmas, right? So
PS5 and the Xbox Series X,
Yeah. So those it'll be interesting. We already know I haven't gotten my Turbo Mini yet. Have you gotten your TurboGrafx Mini yet?
I was actually waiting and then going to pre-order the PC Engine version.
Okay.
But I haven't actually done that yet. I don't think it shows on the camera, but I actually have a TurboGrafx right there.
There you go. I see it. So I know I was reading someone online. They canceled their U.S. Amazon and they ordered it through Amazon Japan and got it like 3 days later. So I might just do that.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah. But
it's now the Neo Geo Mini is on sale too. So like that came down in price down to $30. So
wow, that's cheap. Yeah,
super cheap. So
good.
I mean, there's a lot of deals out there for sure. When it comes to like things coming, the shipping has been really slow in certain aspects. But like my books are still shipping from coming to my warehouse from overseas on time.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how long it takes to get to the port call.
That is good. Yeah, I think, what's going to happen to GameStop, right? I mean, I know they were kind of struggling before all this happened as far as, what's going to happen with them, because they have thousands of locations and right now they don't have any sales.
Well, they also had the bad press of saying that they were like essential business and forcing their workers to work, and then finally doing the curbside, which was too little too late because they already had bad press. And at the same time, Reggie Fils-Aimé just joined their board. So there's a positive piece. But is that too little too late for GameStop to right the ship? Like, what are they going to have to do to change their business model to stay competitive now? Because it seems like the old way of doing business was not working. That's why we saw Funko Pops all over the GameStops and everything. How are they going to survive, especially after this?
I think if I were, and I'm obviously not in charge of GameStop, but if I were them, I would consolidate some of the locations, because they have location in the mall and then across the street they have another location. It's just some of them are crazy close. So they need to consolidate the stores or slower volume stores and just consolidate those. They should also make it more experience driven, which is gonna be obviously tough with what's going on, but eventually make it more like hold tournaments, do different things to get people in the store. And then I know they've sold retro games online, but I think going back to carrying retro games in the store, because that's something you can't get on Steam, necessarily, or the eShop, having those retro games, and not throwing away the Game Boy boxes,
That's what they do.
I know.
That's the 3DS boxes.
I know.
Now. Like,
stupid, right? So, yeah.
On.
So,
and knowing the collector community that they're actually marketing towards, they should know already by now that those that are buying used games are gonna want the boxes.
if they were smart, they'd have some type of membership deal. Well, I know they have memberships, but they should do like a mailing service. Like, well, we're gonna mail you a random game once a month, and kind of like what they do with the mystery boxes for the retro game.
Video games monthly
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
that.
something like that.
Yeah.
Do something like that. Kind of mix it. You gotta keep people engaged, and obviously it's a huge thing. I don't think it's going to go away overnight, but it could be the next blockbuster if we're not careful. And this is certainly not helping them for sure with everything being closed. So
on the inverse of that, what do you think about all of these retro game stores now, like the personally owned ones? Like a lot of our buddies own game stores. Like,
yeah, man, it's
how
tough.
are they going to survive?
Well, hopefully they were able to get some of that government loans to help them out, because it's a 1% loan, which helps, right? So it's covered payroll. I know there was some issues with the first round. Now they just approved the second round. So I've been working with my day job with the franchisees, kind of figuring all that stuff out too. And it's been challenging to get loans, but hopefully they got loans. Hopefully they had some money in their rainy day fund for something like this to happen. But most people don't, let's be honest, right? So yeah, it's tough, man. My heart goes out. Hopefully, what I hope is people, when they do open up, really support them. Go out and support small businesses, because I think that's one aspect of what's going on right now, is the small business is really getting screwed. Because it makes zero sense to me that you can go to a Lowe's and Walmart and these big boxes, but you can't go into a small business.
It's really weird. And people are going there and loitering, like
right. Yeah. So it's nuts. Like I think when things open up in stages, which they will, I think they need people. I think should wear masks, right? I think that's probably a smart thing to do. They should require masks. I think social distancing is probably smart, but it's going to be our new normal for a while, But we have to do something. We can't stay shut down forever, right? I mean, that's not sustainable, for sure. So I don't. It's tough, man. It's tough, but. It'll be interesting. I know some states, and I kind of wish that there was some leadership on the top where every state was kind of doing the same thing, opposed to states doing different things. But it is what it is at this point, and so we'll see.
Just don't inject hand sanitizer.
No. I swallowed some Clorox the other day. No, I was joking.
Get up some Tide Pods.
Gosh.
Yeah, some lines of Clorox.
Definitely don't do that. Don't do that for sure. It's wash hands, wear a mask, don't touch your face or mouth. Don't pick your nose. Don't be aware where you're touching, and keep your distance. For sure. But life will move on, bro. It always does. Civilization's been around for thousands of years, and we've had pandemics, we've had bubonic plagues, and we've seemed to be okay. So.
And I think as long as we stick together, even if the country goes in a second Great Depression, which it looks like we're en route to go to, sure, we'll still make it out alive if we all stick together as a community. And I think that's the main gist.
That's the key. And we're very lucky where we're in the world today, where you and I can have face-to-face discussions, even cross country, right? So
yeah,
I think it would be a lot different 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 100 years ago, when the 1918 Spanish flu happened. I mean, that'd be very tough. But even then, when that happened, the Spanish flu didn't shut everything down, right? So I saw pictures of people at baseball games and masks and stuff, and they still just seem to get through it. So it kind of boils. And 100 years ago, I mean, obviously our medication, medical field has grown leaps and bounds in 100 years. So I think eventually they'll come out with. I saw an article, really encouraging article, that's saying that they may have found something that's basically not curing it, but helping significantly cut the symptoms in half and helping with that. So I think as time goes on, we learn more, and we have awesome people working in the science community, figuring this stuff out. So it's been great.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it looks like things are hopefully going to be looking up, and I mean, everybody just needs to stay safe out there.
One thing that's been frustrating for me is I've been trying to keep up with the media, and it's like all doom and gloom, brother. Like all of it's doom and gloom. Like, and it's every day it's a different story, right? So one day it's like, oh, it's going to be around until 2021, and everything's going to be shut down. I mean, so my advice to those people is obviously don't ignore the news, but be careful of your sources. Try to back up your sources, and everything's not doom and gloom. We'll be fine. We're all going to die. We're all going to die, right? I mean, that's how, not necessarily COVID, but we're going to die. We're going to die eventually. So I think a lot of people are scared of dying, and I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I'm not scared of dying.
Well, it's
So
the fear of the unknown because people don't really know a lot about this virus.
yeah,
And as more comes to light, once they actually have a way to predict who has it, I think it's going to alleviate a lot of that. Like, we're like, oh, yep, we already know you all have recovered from it. You're good.
yeah.
That actually will fix a lot.
It will, and, it will absolutely, and that's the thing. They need to check people with no symptoms either, right? They just need to, I don't know, do like a mailing test and just mail everyone a test and have everyone, and they're saying baseball for it to get back to playing games without fans, they have to be able to test every player weekly, and we're talking not just players, but broadcasters and behind the camera, cameramen and all those people. And it's like 3,000 a week. So that's just baseball. So we need to be able to test, like I heard, like somewhere like 20 million tests a week, at least in the States, to be able to have a really good idea what's going on. So
it's crazy. And they don't have a process yet.
Yeah.
So you want to hear a silver lining?
Sure. What's that?
So since we recorded, I haven't been sitting on my laurels, right? I've been busy. As I alluded to, I moved from Texas to Georgia, right?
Sure.
So during that process, did you know that HGTV recorded the home buying experience?
Really?
So there's a TV show on HGTV called House in a Hurry.
And you're on it.
And
that's right. I remember you mentioning
my episode in 2 weeks is going to air. So in the middle of May.
Oh, look at you.
My episode will be on HGTV of my family hunting for a house in Georgia. And this was back in end of October, beginning of November.
So you got two homework assignments. Two homeworks, my friend. Okay. Send me a link to that Star Wars movie you were talking about, the editor one. And then send me a link to this episode. Let me know when it's up. I want to record it because my wife is a huge HGTV fan. So I'm curious, and not going into too much detail, did you get paid for being on that, or was it just like voluntary, your time?
So it was really cool because my wife applied for it. They flew all of us out to Georgia to go house hunting, which initially I was going to go by myself and just go house hunting and like video, like we're doing now, video to my wife and show her because that's all we could afford. Well, they flew us all out. They paid for food, everything. It was crazy. And they paid us some money.
Wow, look at you guys. Yeah. And you found a house through the whole thing.
And my wife has used all of that to do upgrades, and I've been building gazebos and furniture this week. It's literally
good for you guys, man. That's awesome, dude. Good for you. That's great.
Literally using our resources though to whatever we can do, and they wanted to record. So everybody will see what I do in the military at the beginning of the episode. It should be fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
They didn't let me show any Hagen's Alley stuff or any of my books or any video games really, which is unfortunate. It's all licensed.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I'm like, can I wear a Hagen's Alley T-shirt? I'm like, I own the business. I'll approve it.
They would probably blur it out. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, no. I was like, I don't care. Promotion.
Good for you, man. I'm excited to check that out. I'm really stoked. Good for you, man. That's awesome. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, so that's always one thing, so people can see my crazy butt on acting a fool on HGTV. It should be in a couple weeks in May is our air date. So pretty cool.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're staying busy with work. And now, are you guys in the military? Are you guys keeping your social distancing in place, or how's that working?
100% have to. It's gotten to the point where all of because we do every 6 months do a physical fitness test. And testing and everything, and all that's been kind of postponed. I mentioned the crazy workouts that I'm doing personally, but some of my soldiers won't be keeping up, so I'm gonna have to bring the wrath of hell upon them, which will be fun. But literally a lot of that stuff, and the biggest part is that all of the moves have been postponed. So if somebody was going to do a permanent change of station, a PCS across the country right now, it's all been on hold for months. So there's going to be, not only is it an issue for those that need to move now, but when they open the floodgates, the backlog is going to be bad. They're going to be overwhelming all the moving companies. It's going to be a nightmare for a lot of people moving across country when that all gets unlocked. It's the same thing that the country's going to go to. When they go, all right, it's done. It's not like a snap like I just did. It's going to be an adjustment period. And where I worry for you with Game On, for example, is that, okay, so say end of June, they go, all right, we're good. A month later, are people still going to be willing to come out to a convention?
Right.
And I will go in support as long as I'm allowed to travel. I will.
Sure.
like, is everybody in that boat? Like, I mean, well, obviously
That's $1 million question, man. I don't know. I don't know.
It's
You're
hard.
You get people who are, you're gonna get people who want to bunker home, and that's totally their right to do that, hunker home. So,
well, there might be people who permanently do that. So,
yeah, absolutely. So it's a mixed bag. I mean, it's affected sales for sure. I'll be honest, and so far pre-sales, but I'm taking one day at a time, and that's all you can do. And I'm not worrying about it until I have to worry about it,
Exactly.
So try not to. So it's out of my control right now. So it's in God's hands. Right on, bro. Well, good to chat with you, man. Remind us where your link is for your books and all that good stuff. Hagen's Alley.
So, Switchbook, which is right here, got the nice little advanced copy. It's at switchopedia.com. So, like the encyclopedia of the Switch, Switchopedia, as well as all of my books are at hagensalley.com. Hagen's Alley is where you find everything. It's where you can find me on Facebook and the Twitters at Hagen's Alley. And you can find me all over the place.
Good books, guys. Good collecting books. And I got to pick up your Virtual Boy one. I need to get that Switch one when it comes out. I'm
trying to raise the bar on every release and make it cooler. And
I see you got your
when
game.
I do like people are like, will you re-release your complete NES book? And I'm like, if I do, I have to raise the bar.
Right.
So I've been doing that, putting another 1,000 hours in editing.
Sure. I see you got your game room set up for the most part behind you. That's good. Looks good. I like the messenger in the corner there. That's a good game.
Like how I do my Switch collection is I do my top 5 at the very top, and then I do my top 30, and then I have all the games down here alphabetically. So like these are some of my favorites. But this one right here with the messenger, this is my backlog I want to play.
Okay. So what you're telling me is in the top shelf there, you got to move it over to put Sydney. Where like Mario's right there, that's gonna be your top 5 up there. Got to make room. You got to push it aside.
So my top 5: Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Oxygen Verge, Hollow Knight, and Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Yeah. Could it be Sydney Hunter? Perhaps.
We'll have to make some room.
We'll see.
We'll
see. Right. I mean, Sydney Hunter's awesome. So all I have to do is connect, man. All I have to do is connect.
There you go.
But yeah, I love doing my own categorizing. The heck, I do it in books. I do it in real life. Like, it's my bread and butter. It's my passion.
You got some good box systems up there too, man. And NES, Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff, man.
I got Neo Geo games right there too. It's like a whole set. Neo Geo. I got a ton of Turbo. There's a sealed. Where is it? Right there, sealed Lords of Thunder.
Oh, there you go.
On the TurboGrafx 16. I got some craziness right behind me.
Heck yeah.
Love it.
All right, brother. Well, it's good to catch up, bro. As always, we'll do it again. I'm glad you're doing well.
Yeah.